So they say that being frugal can make you rich, and I want to debunk that theory and tell you why it's nothing short of utter nonsense. Now I could just stand here and do a nice relaxing video echoing what everybody else is saying here on YouTube, praising the almighty power of penny pinching, telling you that you must live off instant noodles and say no to the evil overpriced Starbucks.
President and founder of dumb Starbucks.
But let's face the truth, simply saving won't launch you into the realm of millionaires. In fact, I would argue that being frugal will actually do the opposite and keep you poor. I want to tell you a personal story to prove my point, a point in time which absolutely changed my life. You see, I was in the army and I was doing some team building on a sailing weekend away with the lads off the sunny coast of England. Side note, it rained the whole time we were there. We were staying on a small humble yacht called the Trockers and it sleeped 10 people, and having 10 big military guys in there, it was quite crammed. It stunk of man odor and other ghastly fragrances that you can imagine. One night we did what guys do. We dressed up like slutty pirates and went to get wasted.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
And yes, this is me on the exact night in question. Surely these embarrassing pictures are worth a like. Later that evening, I was stumbling back to the Trockers to try and put my head down and get some sleep. And I passed this huge catamaran boat, a boat with 2 hulls, docked out with twinkling lights and booming music. I remember looking to my left and seeing that there is loads of 20-something-year-olds living it up. And as I watched from a distance, dressed as a female pirate, I couldn't help but think, who owns this big-ass boat? These punks are singing and dancing on a massive boat. They're pretty much my age. How could they afford to do this? I came to the conclusion that it's probably their daddy's boat, or maybe it's a member of NSYNC. I eventually found my bed, took off my wig, and got some shut-eye. But weeks later, I couldn't fathom this thought. I couldn't shake the thought of who owned this boat. How somebody my age was living it larger than I was. I came to eventually realize that it didn't matter who actually owned this giant, beautiful boat. Somewhere down the line, someone, their family, made enough money to afford this luxurious lifestyle. That boat, even to this day, became a symbol of wealth and freedom to me. It became my white whale. And to be clear, just as a side note, I didn't even enjoy sailing at the time. In fact, I absolutely fucking hated it. I just came to realize that on the path I was currently on, even if I wanted a boat like that, I'd never be able to afford it. It was above me. It was above my earning potential. I realized that if I continued marching the ranks forward, the army itself actually had limits, as do most careers. If I reached the top tier the military could offer, decades later, my body would be broken, and even then, I would not be able to afford this majestic white whale of a boat. So about a year later, with promotions offered on the horizon, I did the unthinkable. I quit the military to pursue a boat I didn't even want. And that's where my own story actually began. You see, at the heart of all wealth creation, any successful person in finance, there's a key trait they all have. A force that drives everything else. And it's not money, it's not strategy, or even knowledge. It's just simply desire. Desire is the rocket fuel that launches you towards your financial goals. There's a great book called The Millionaire Mind by Thomas J. Stanley, and it says, desire is referenced as a quality needed to succeed among successful people. It is something that evokes emotional energy so strong that it can overcome the risk and lifestyle sacrifices that come with entrepreneurship. Remember that moment I saw this massive boat with people my age partying on it, and that burning question I instantly got, why can't that be me? That was my first big desire. That desire sparked a huge change in my lifestyle and outlook to how I see myself financially. It drove me to leave the army, a career I absolutely loved doing. It set me up to change my course and charter my own path into the future, and there's a sailing pun for you. As risky as it may have been, there was a desire to do more, to have more, and ultimately become more. And of course, I'm not suggesting that you march into your boss's office on Monday morning, flip them the birdie, and announce you're quitting because a bearded bloke on the internet told you to. If you do this, you'll be just chasing the next bus to Brokesville, which of course isn't a real place, trust me, I checked. But my point here is, consider Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world. He had a comfortable job which was limited by salary. So he decided to quit it and start an online bookstore in his garage. This bald, middle middle-aged man quit his decent paying job to go and sell books in a garage on an unimaginable, unseeable, made-up cloud in the sky, which is what the internet was basically back then. Jeff had a desire and dreamed big, and ironically now owns one of the best yachts on the planet. Big companies and big ideas and rich individuals all together all come with a burning desire to become something greater than they currently are. So I ask you to ask yourself, what is it that you actually desire? What are you determined to achieve? And more importantly, what are you willing to do to actually get there? You see, even if you avoid Starbucks and do indeed live off instant noodles like Graham Stephan's telling you to, do you think one day with this lifestyle you will be even able to afford a yacht or whatever it is you desire? It's a simple question to ask yourself and be openly honest. Why do you want to settle for what you already have? And here's another story to hammer home this point, and this again is 100% true. My father is a man who went from a council estate in the north of England to basically providing a very comfortable lifestyle for him and his family. It's a man I truly admire. And he offered me some advice when I was younger. Even when I was in the military, before I wanted this whole financial freedom, he gave me some advice that stuck with me forever. I remember telling this same advice back to him about 3 or 4 years ago, and I could see the pride on his eyes that I'd remembered this mindset. I remember saying, "Dad, if I don't have money, I'll just go and earn some more. I'll never be broke. If I need something, I'll find a way to make enough money to pay for it. The money is out there. All I need to do is work harder and figure out a plan to get that money into my bank account." In essence, I'm willing to work harder and faster than anybody else and produce as much cash as I need when needed. That is both desire and also putting it into action. I think there's a huge key lesson that the frugalites on YouTube miss to tell you. Frugality ultimately limits you. Now you might be asking, this guy just hates being frugal and he doesn't know what he's talking about because it's good to avoid unnecessary expenses. And I completely agree. But being frugal is about preserving what you already have. Being frugal is a defensive measure. It's not an offense. It's about protecting your money and not actually growing it. And yes, it is important, but it won't let you get to live your own dreams. Envision yourself as the legendary defensive boxer Floyd Mayweather, probably the greatest defensive mastermind within the ring's history. Would he win a fight purely by just defending himself and being a human punching bag, blocking every shot? Of course he wouldn't win anything. Eventually, you need to throw punches back. And that's how you ultimately win a fight. Being frugal alone can create a false sense of security, and it will lull you into a comfort zone that keeps you from achieving greater things. Remember, the most valuable asset you own is not a bank account, it's not an NFT you bought last year, it's in fact you. It's your skills, your knowledge, and your experiences. The more you learn, the more you earn, and the more you graft, the more you craft. Put yourself out there and go bigger and harder and faster than before, and you will see results in both financial terms and of course your mindset. Start a new venture or put some extra work in on a current side project. Do what is needed to reach your desires. Being frugal is absolutely pointless without a desire to be something greater than you currently are. Live above your dreams and not below your means. And I hope that's a quote I've just painted it. And anybody can do this. You can even earn as much as $1,800 a night without going to college in your spare time. And you don't even have to take off your clothes, as I tell you in this video here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.